hear me? My slides are on the way, yes? Thank you so much to Liz and Stephen and Lily, first of all, and a member of the European Parliament. Really grateful for this experience. Beyond a recall of these products, I think we need to look ahead. I just want to say this at first, because they're not finished with us, and the next thing is coming. And besides just saying, this has to stop, the current 3-year program, we need to look ahead and preemptively say no. I think that's really important. So I'm going to present some VAERS data. They're basically just pretty pictures. I'm not going to take a long time. I think most of you are familiar with what's going on with this database. It's the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. It's a pharmacovigilance tool which is designed to detect safety signals in data that weren't detected in pre-market testing. It is one of many. I chose to analyze the data from VAERS because it's easily accessible, and you just simply download it and count away. It's really important that everybody know that there was more than enough of a safety signal in VAERS, even in January 2021. I don't think many people know this. Beyond a safety signal being detected across all the age groups here, even in the 0 to 4 range, there were almost 700 deaths. And the word on the street is that once you surpass a certain number of deaths in the context of treatment, a prophylactic drug, or a vaccine, it's time to call the product off the market, to recall it. So I don't understand how 700 people managed to report their deaths to VAERS. These are just the front-end reports. 3 things I just want to say about VAERS. It works. It has worked historically. The rotavirus vaccine in 1999 was called off the market when a handful of intussusception cases were reported. It works when it's being looked at. So the problem is the people who own the data, which are the HHS, the FDA, and the CDC, are not doing what they've always done in the past. And no matter how much of this that we're doing as analysts, they don't seem to be concerned with what's going on. And I think that you guys probably will be after you see these pretty pictures. And VAERS is severely underreported. Lots of people are going on saying that it's overreported because everybody knows about it. That is rubbish. It's severely underreported. We don't know exactly by how much, but I've calculated it to be at least 31 times underreported, which is based on the Pfizer phase 3 clinical trial data, which is probably also rubbish. And so you can take it with a grain of salt. Needless to say, I never ever show the underreporting factor in my figures because we don't need it. The numbers are very high. This is just to give everybody an idea of what's been going on for the last 10 years. VAERS has been on the go for 30. This is the last 10 years of data. The left-hand graph is file size. The right-hand side are the number of adverse reports, the absolute number. And you can see for the past 10 years, it's been very, pretty even. The number, this file size and the number of reports. The number of deaths for all the vaccines combined for the last 10 years is something around 139. So if you compare that to the almost 40,000 reports that are currently in VAERS right now, there is no comparison. So you can see there's a 1,400% increase in the file size in just 2021 alone. And I remind everyone, I'm talking about 3 products in 2021, the mRNA and the Janssen, and all the vaccines combined for the last 10 years. And there's a 1,300% increase in the respective number of adverse event reports. So there's a striking increase, and there's no explanation for this. This is across all age groups. You can see that nobody is immune. According to age, there are over 1.5 million reports in VAERS as of, this is April 21st. VAERS is updated weekly, and the numbers they're still growing. And on the right-hand side is the normalized data according to dose, according to the CDC age grouping. And those are not low numbers. A lot of people are saying, well, it's just because we've doled out a lot of shots. That's also rubbish. It's not that at all. Now, we've already seen evidence that, there was it's not even evidence. We knew that these shots were unnecessary in children. COVID is not really it's not a bad disease in children. Nonetheless, there was a push to get these shots into very young children, and now even babies. And this is the current number of adverse event reports in the front end system, no underreporting factor considered in VAERS. You can see there are a couple of peaks at age 5 and 12. This probably has a lot to do with the fact that they were injected underage. So again, no child needed these shots, and the infection fatality rate in children is nil. So it really begs the question why. This is a slide just for you to have evidences from way back when showing that the rates of death from COVID itself in children was basically nothing. And this is in comparison to the deaths that have been reported in the context of VAERS. So I'm just going to leave this here for people to peruse. Oh, that's not supposed to be what. Oh, okay. So again, I reiterate, no child needed these shots. They were pushed on children, and children have died, according to the reports in VAERS. Again, this is underreported. We don't know the actual number, but you can multiply that by something. Not one child should die in the context of a prophylactic treatment where there's no risk for death from the disease. Period. Not one. These kids, oops, what happened? These kids, they no longer have a future to look forward to. I know that's a bit dismal, but that's the reality. Let me go quickly. There's so much I can say about what's in VAERS because it's a very comprehensive database, not just because there are over 1.5 million reports, but for every single report, there are 52 variables. There's a lot of information in there. So one of the things that I wanted to point out here is that a lot of these things are being given inappropriately according to age. Kids that are too young, according to the EUA definition. And these particular ones that I'm showing you were given by pharmacists. So my question is, if these pharmacists, which are supposed to be professionals, are not asking, are you old enough? Are you at the age of consent, according to the EUA? How likely do you think that them or their parents are being told about side effects? I would say 0. And that's a big problem. 4 children ended up in the ER too. This is my last slide, and it's probably the most important. It's well established and acknowledged even by the CDC that myocarditis is a problem in the context of these shots, inflammation of the heart. This is a chart that's been evident from the very beginning, and it remains evident in the way that I'm showing. This is age on the x-axis of all the reports pulled out of VAERS with myocarditis as an adverse event report. And the y-axis is just the absolute number, and the colors are by dose. So you can see following dose 2, there's a much higher fold increase, or it's a much higher fold reporting rate for the second dose. So that indicates that there's it's evidence of causation. And I just also want to say that whenever I hear people repeating this mantra, well, correlation isn't causation, I wonder if they've ever heard of Bradford Hill criteria, because these are the criterion that you can use to provide very solid evidence of causality and epidemiological data. And I've satisfied all 10. There are 10, and I've satisfied all 10. So that's all I have to say. I probably forgot a bunch of stuff, but thanks very much for hearing me, and that's it.